All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry about that. Just trying to get everything set up here. So we had non-farm data come out early. We've seen that big wick up here. I'm just getting set up here. So we're looking at this 15-minute inversion here. So we have yet to hit any of our 8 a.m. highs or 8 a.m. lows. We did have a sharp move up with the red folder news that came out this morning, and it looks like it's been hanging within that range. So right now we're waiting for maybe an inversion of this 15-minute fair value gap here, which will give us good indication that we'll continue higher. I'd like to see a sweep of either this 8 a.m. low and tap into this 15-minute fair value gap. We have a lot of sell side objectives down here. We have our new day opening gap low down here, New York midnight open. We have our Asia lows, and we have some equal lows down there. So nice draws and liquidity down there. So even if we inverse this 15, I'd still like to see maybe a sweep of this high, a tap into this, maybe this 1 hour fair value gap, and then down towards these lows. But we'll see. If we sweep these lows first, we'd be tapping into maybe this 15-minute fair value gap, or these London lows, close that gap and then head higher. So let's see. Take our first presented fair value gap there. It looks like it inversed. We inversed our first presented. So we inversed this first presented, retest it, and we're shooting lower. So it looks like it may want to sweep some of this sell side first. We do have a daily fair value gap here. We could go as low as consummate encroachment of this daily fair value gap. It's a bullish daily fair value gap there. Nice. There's a long wick. So it's not. So this fair value gap may be what's holding up price from getting into these lows. But let's see. There are about 5 minutes left on this fair value gap, this 15-minute fair value gap. So let's see, we're still respecting that first presented fair value gap there. It's kind of getting into a bit of a consolidation. So I really like to practice some patience here, and let's wait and see if we get a sweep of these highs, these ADM highs, or these ADM lows, to give us more of an indication and stay within our strategy here. So we do have some targets above our highs here. So we have this 1 hour fair value gap that we can tap into if we sweep those highs. And we have this 15-minute fair value gap if we sweep these lows, as well as this close of this gap and London lows. So ES is pretty much in the same boat here. 5-minute gap here, which broke structure, and we got some expansion here. So this 5-minute gap here, and it's showing some reaction. So I'd like to see that there. And it's getting kind of cluttered here. So I'm gonna get rid of my OTE mark here. Kind of clean it up a little bit. So we have this 4-hour bearish fair value gap. We got about 15 minutes left before we see if we invert this 4-hour fair value gap here. Which would indicate that we may be going higher. So it looks like price is looking kind of bullish according to the 4-hour. We have a nice strong wick here on that. But if we open up this new 4-hour candle and shoot to these highs, will we jab for that long, or we wait for that sweep of the high, tap into this fair value gap here, and see if we get a pullback to the lows? That's the question there. So about 10 seconds left to this fair value gap. See if we get an inversion on this 15-minute. And we didn't get that close above, but it is wicking up. Experimenting with this playlist here. Let's see if we can't get. I really don't like the words. So right now it looks like we're stuck in a small consolidation range here. Well, that's why we're going to wait and see we sweep one of these, the 8 a.m. highs or the 8 a.m. low, tap into a key level or a higher time frame PD array, and give us more clarity as to where we go. We're also approaching that 950 macro. So let's see where we go here. Kind of hanging around that first presented fair value gap. We inversed, came up, respected, came down, came up, came down. So it's kind of hanging around this area here. switch my camera here. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the best ways to position these cameras and get all set up in the morning. So I appreciate you bearing with me here, but we're getting it. We're getting it. So we have liquidity on both sides of the range. We have liquidity on the buy side as well as the sell side. So for me, we have this 15-minute FEG marked out here. Basically an inversion of this 15-minute FEG along with that bullish daily fair value gap would be a nice move to the upside. But I'd also like to see the reaction after we sweep these highs here and tap into this small 1 hour FEG. I'd like to see how price reacts as well. So patience is the key this morning, especially after a big red folder day. That 8:30 news that came out, people are kind of, investors are gathering themselves and getting situated, reacting to their profits or losses. So we just got to kind of be patient and see which way the market wants to end up going. Right now it's giving indications to the upside. We got about 10 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. So it seems like both ES and NQ is kind of hanging out in the middle of this range between the 8 a.m. highs and these 8 a.m. lows. So that being said, would a break, if we inverse this 15, I may treat it more as a break to the upside, and we look for a valid entry into longs. If we do happen to get a bearish reaction after sweeping these highs and tapping into this 1 hour FEG, we'd be looking for some. So let's see. All right. So that's about a 70-point move there, between a 70-90-point move. So by the time we get to those highs, we'd be looking at maybe a take profit. Maybe we'd set our take profit at the highs. But an inversion here at the 15 would give us pretty good indication of taking those longs into those highs. If we end up sweeping these highs before the close of this candle, which we got about 7 minutes left, then we'd be looking for any type of bearish reaction after tapping into this 1 hour fair value gap. Maybe down to at least the middle of this range, aiming for these lows. Right now we're just kind of chopping around. A little less than 6 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. Just kind of holding up. And this is typical after a big red fold of news. Everybody's kind of just coasting right now. So let's see. So although overall we may be looking bullish, we may get a sweep of these lows before heading higher. We're rejecting off of that first presented fair value gap into this 950 macro. So if we get a break here, just break a structure here. We have a 1 minute fair value gap here. So it looks like we may go down and sweep these lows and get some of that sell side. So we're just going to practice some patience here. It looks like it's retested that VWAP. I want to see it sweep these lows first and tap into our key level or PD array. We're looking at the inside this 950 macro. See if we do deliver to the downside. You could look for a short scalp into these lows. But it probably wouldn't be too smooth price action. See, we're coming back up, testing that VWAP. Shooting straight back down there. So it's a good chance we may get down into these lows. I like to see a nice sweep of these lows. But you see how price is kind of playing around in here. We got some consolidation after a break of the structure here. So it's coming back up, testing this 200 simple moving average. So many people would take a short scalp into these lows, but you see how price is just going back and forth, back and forth. We may be trying to tap in to this bearish order block up here. Meaning we could see price all the way maybe to here and see a rejection. We also have a 1 minute fair value gap there. If we start getting back above this area here, then those shorts don't look too good. It went right back up, test that 930 open. Now it's coming down. So let's be patient. Looks like it's coming back up, retesting that VWAP. We may see a full delivery down to those 8 a.m. lows. Once we get into those lows, I'd like to see where we go from there. I like to extend this all the way out so I can see how it gives me a notation of what that is there. Sometimes I see these marks, I don't know what it is, and I know my chart looks kind of messy, but it's an ordered chaos, so to speak. You know, you got your 4-hour bearish fair value gap here, which hasn't been inversed yet and doesn't look like it will be. We have this 15-minute fair value gap. It's like it's being inversed to the downside. It makes sense. We have a lot of bearish objectives down here. Let's see as we get closer to those 8 a.m. lows, if we can get a sweep of that area. About 5 minutes left inside this 950 macro. So we're just seeing now if we can get low enough, get to this 8 a.m. lows, a sweep of these lows. We got about 3 minutes left to the end of this 950 macro. See if it'll deliver us down to those lows. So let's get a nice big bazooka candle down to those lows. Let's get this sweep going and tap into that 15-minute FEG. We're getting some good momentum to the downside. Buyers are putting up some resistance around that 635 area. So let's get below that. Let's get below that at 620, and we should see it slide on down into those 595s for that 80M, no, that 604 area. So we're at the end of that 1010 macro. So if it's going to deliver, it's got to do it now. It's hesitating just above those lows. Let's see it get those lows there. Sweep those lows. Come on now, sweep those lows. And we'll get in there and sweep those lows. Now let's see what type of reaction we get once we get into those lows there. So we got into those lows, and that's right. I'll pull up. What I'll do is here's my trade of 8, 50K account here. So I was speaking about maybe scalping into those lows, and now we're starting to see some good movement down in there. So far we're up about 290 on these trade here. I took a few little scalps into there. I didn't want to put it on stream because these weren't high probability trades that I was scalping into, and for anybody watching, I didn't want to following what I'm trying to do here. But typically now what we want to see is we hit these 8 a.m. lows. Are we gonna get into this gap fill here? That's our next target, is this gap fill. So if you wanted to continue, if you wanted to, scalp into these key levels, you perfectly well, it would be valid. Because on the 15-minute, we did inverse. It looked well. We got about 2 minutes left before we inverse this bullish fair value gap. So, but as you can see on this 15-minute, after a sweep of these lows and a tap into this 15-minute fair value gap, we also have another 15-minute fair value gap here. We got our 15-minute fair value here, so this would probably be more substantial than this one. But they're both pretty substantial. This was a break. This gap was a break of the high with expansion. This gap was a break of the high with expansion. So we tapped down into consummate encroachment of this 15-minute fair value gap after an 8 a.m. sweep of these 8 a.m. lows. So now as we see a rejection here, now I'm going to look on the lower time frame to give us some type of bullish indications. So let's see if we can't get some 1-minute inversions. My trading view is kind of freezing up on me, which is typical. So on the 1 minute, we're looking at some possible inversions, looking for some bullish indications after tapping into these higher time frame PD arrays. You have this small fair value gap here. Probably wouldn't be enough for me to say that we're going to break this bearish trend. But as we get back above these 8 a.m. highs, if we get a change in state of delivery here, there we go. We get a close above there. So we're getting back into this area here. This is our first 5-minute gap here that we would look for an inversion. And being as though these highs, this 8 a.m. high and this 8 a.m. lows is pretty wide. If we got a, so let's get this off here. That's our 1 minute first presented there. So we'll take that down to there. And let's see if we can.
Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation where you
Let's
can
do
go
this.
as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
We can invert this 5-minute. That'd be good. That'd be a good sign there. We've already hit our change in state of delivery on the 1 minute there. So here's another 1 minute fair value gap here. Back up it to our 9:30 open. So now that we swept these 8 a.m. lows, we've hit our higher time frame PD array beating the 15-minute fair value gap. We started to see some bullish sentiment on the lower time frame on the 1 minute, where we have a small IFEG here. We just created a fair value gap here with expansion. It's just being respected. But if you want full confirmation, further confirmation, we're actually looking for an inversion of this 5 minute with this V-shaped recovery, inversion of this 5 minute, and longing up into this area here. Should be about, that's a still 100-point trade. You know, we also have our 15-minute to inverse this 15-minute. We got about 10 minutes left. That's about a 70-point trade. But if your risk tolerance is high enough, we could enter on this 1 minute. On this 1 minute inversion and respect of this fair value gap. So we have another 1 minute here. This 1 minute here. So let's see if we get here an inversion. So we get above this 1 minute FEG here with a body closure. That'd be a good setup for a buy into those longs, or long into that area. Starting to see a little bit of hesitation there. So if we break out above this FEG here, may see it break out with some strength and some speed.
This song is called Aura by Primo the Alien. Here's the raw vocal. I'm gonna tickle your vision, baby. Okay, up first we've got Auto-Tune 2026. We've got our key set, retune speed at 0, classic mode on. I'm gonna tickle your vision, baby. We're gonna use Auto-Tune EQ to clean up the low end and boost some of the top end. I'm gonna tickle your vision, baby. Next we're gonna use Auto-Tune vocal compressor in serial mode to get a really upfront sound. I'm gonna tickle your vision, baby. I also used another instance of vocal compressor to set up a really aggressive parallel compression chain. I'm gonna tickle your vision, baby. Let's use the DS.
It actually seems like it wants to push up, but we're getting a lot of hesitation there in that area. A lot of resistance from sellers, but buyers are pushing forward. Let's see if we can't get up in there with a nice body closure above that area. That's why if you want more of a confirmation, we would wait for a 5-minute inversion, or even better, a 15-minute inversion of that fair value gap that we highlighted. So we got a nice body closure above there. So let's see if we come back for a retest, which we did. Trading view doesn't want to act right. So we got into that trade there. So let's see how we act out here. So we took on this trade with a little bit higher risk, waiting, with the body closure above this fair value gap. It came in and retested. We put our limit order in and tagged us in. So we're currently in this trade.
We're going to do a similar thing for the last phrase in the section, but this time we're going to use vocodus. For a little extra polish, we're going to put vocal reverb on a send. We're going to set it up.
So
with a
let's
short loop
see
like this.
how it treats us. And on trading view,
Also grabbed just the vocal end here and put a
I'm
second
trading NQ,
vocal reverb
so it's just 1 minute.
swells in, as well as
A little bit more,
octave up.
you know, on my funded accounts or my evals.
We're going to use EFX
They're 50K with a $2,000 drawdown. So I trade micros, but on my trading view account, I treat this more so as a live trading account without all the rules. So we're up about 46,000 on this account. So that's why you'll see me trade with a little bit more size. So we got the break and the closure above this 1 minute fair value gap after we swept these 8 a.m. lows, tapped into this higher time frame 15 minute fair value gap, and now we're moving to the upside. Currently up about $330 in this trade. We're aiming for these 8 a.m. highs, which is our natural target after sweeping these lows. So we got about 4 minutes with this new 5-minute candle. See if we invert this 5-minute fair value gap. Really like to see an inversion of this 15-minute, which it doesn't look like it's going to do on this candle. We got about 3 minutes left on this candle, which it very well could. But by that time, you see we're already in pretty good profit. But even still, if you waited for the inversion of this 15-minute, we still have, that's still about a 60, well, 70, 60, about 70 to 90 point play, depending on where you want to go. If we just target from the inversion to the 8 a.m. highs, you got about 70 points. Still a pretty good trade. We put our stop loss here. That's the thing there. Where would you put your stop loss? So I'd be okay with an inversion of this 5-minute. With a stop loss below the FEG itself. So in the next 2 minutes, if we close we could get into it. We could get into a trade there. Hopefully it doesn't take off and leave us. So on my eval account, we took a few trades. We're up 397 on that account. So I'm probably not going to trade anymore on this account here Friday. I like to be conservative on this account. But I am confident that we will get into these highs. It's just that volume is starting to slow down here. These candles are getting smaller. And, you know, I think I've done enough on this account. Close out the week on a good note. Review our trades. And set up for next week. But right now, as is, we got into this trade off the 1 minute fair value gap closure and continuation. We're waiting to maybe get in on a second entry for those that wanted to wait until we closed above this 5-minute bearish fair value gap, this inversion. So we got about 1 minute left until we see an inversion. And what we'll do is we'll put a limit order here. And I'll anticipate that we're going to close above this once we get down to about 15 seconds. and I'll set a limit order. So I'll go ahead and set a limit order now, just to see if once we get this body closure, I'm confident that we'll close above this 5 minute, and see if we'll come back and retest that area, tag us in, and get us up into them 8 a.m. highs for a second entry here. We're already in our first entry. We're up about $700. So we did body above that 5 minute, causing an IFEG. If we come back and retest, it'll tag us in. Let's see, will we get back into there? It may, because we see a lot of resistance in this area here, so it may come back. Looks like it might come back and tag us in, which is what we're looking for to get a best possible entry. It kind of makes you want to move up a little bit. We'll stay firm with our entry level here. If it doesn't tag us in, we're already in the trade. This is just a second entry. It looked like it did tag us in. Trading view is kind of slow with giving us our updates here. So we did get into that trade. We did get into that. So we were in 1. We're now up 2. Which wasn't good for my average, but either way, we're in there. So what I'd like to do is see where we are. I'm just all over the place with this. So when we got into that second position, it kind of got us on our RR, which I'm not going to move my stop loss. My stop loss was here on that first trade with an entry here. When I got in up here on that second trade, it kind of moved us up, our entry up just a little bit here, and it moved our stop loss up. So right now we got our stop loss. Well, it's just below. It's well below our at 5 minute gap. Let me get this out the way here so we can see. I just got so much going on. This is my markup chart. I try to keep the chart I actually trade on kind of clean, but you know, we're marking up and putting ideas out here on this one, so it gets kind of messy as the day goes on. But we got our stop loss just below. Just below this 5 minute low here. We did have our stop loss here, which I may just be able to put our stop loss back where we were. And that's where I like to go. And we still got a pretty good RR there, but we got to give it some room to breathe, especially on these trades. And we'll stay on the 5 minute just because there's so much volatility. I like to sometimes stay on the higher time frames so it doesn't, you know, scare us into closing a trade earlier than we should. Another trick too is these Heikin-Ashi candles. So with these Heikin-Ashi candles, it gives us the average, so you'll see it's a lot cleaner. So you'll see a lot of red here and these candles green. So with these Heikin-Ashi candles, when you're in a trade, if you wanted to keep those on that, you can see that even though it's pulling back here, your candles on average, your trade is still green, your candle's still green. So in order for us to lose this trade, we would have to come all the way down into this area and rub out these green candles. Let's check it out on the 1 minute. Now see on the 1 minute, it's a little bit more. You see a little bit of green, a little bit of red, green. Okay, so right now it's average bearish on the 1 minute. But it looks like our 20 simple moving average is holding us up here. So if we get a catch, a nice 20 moving average catch here and push to the upside, and we also have our 200, which is good support, and we have our VWAP, which is good support, and we're well below our VWAP and our 200 and our 20, and these are just average movement of price. So they're also they act as support levels or walls, or if you're below, resistance levels. So it's good that we're below all these levels here. If we move up to our 5 minute, our candles are getting kind of smaller even on the Heikin-Ashi. We got a lot of resistance here in this area here, but a break above this area, we should see it fly to the upside. But that's the Heikin-Ashi candle. So let's get back to our regular candles. And get on our 15 minute. We still haven't inversed this 15. So an inversion of this 15 minute fair value gap would be a definite confirmation that we're headed to higher prices. On the longer term, we're actually just looking to get into these 8 a.m. highs. That's what we're targeting. So right now on the 15, you can see lower highs. So we need to see a break of some of these highs to get in. Now, we got in on our first trade, which was off the 1 minute, and that would have been a pretty good scalp if we closed that trade. Once we inversed that 5 minute fair value gap, we entered into a second trade. We inversed this 5 minute here with this closure here. We got into a second trade, which moved our average entry up a few points, and it moved our stop loss up a few points, but we adjusted our stop loss back to our original to give it some room. If we would have kept it where it was, we'd have been stopped out by now. But since we're targeting those highs, we'll give it some room and see if we can't get some further action to the upside, being as though we've swept these lows and tapped into a higher time frame PD array. Now, I did not take this trade on my eval or any other active accounts I have. This is a paper trade. I scalped into the 8 a.m. lows earlier for a total profit of $397, and I'm pretty much done on this account for today. I took these trades on my paper account simply because we wanted to put some visuals to our narrative. So the narrative being, we swept these 8 a.m. lows, swept these 8 a.m. lows, we swept these 8 a.m. lows, tapped into our higher time frame PD array, came up here, we inversed this 1 minute fair value gap here, and that would have been a good entry. Came back, retested, came back up, inversed this fair value gap here, this 5 minute fair value gap here, which we took our second entry here, and now we came back, retested that area for a pullback there. Now we're going up, looking to break this high here. Let's start to break some highs, break some structure, break some of this bearish structure on the 5 minute, and into our 8 a.m. highs, which we're targeting. So to be more conservative, we'd like to see some break of structure on these 5 minute, and even further, I'd like to see an inversion of this 15 minute fair value gap. We are inside of a daily bullish fair value gap, So trades to the upside would be ideal. What's causing this push down, which looks like it may tap us out. If it does, we'll just look for a re-entry on this paper trading account. But hopefully it'll hold us up. It looks like it might tap us out here. We're not really protected by any significant lows here. This would be our low. That would be protected, our protected low. But we're not going to move our stop loss all the way down there. This is our last line of support here, this VWAP, which we're currently bouncing off of. Let's see if that's enough to get us back up into some positive territory. So be as it may, it looks like we may have just been created a higher low, which will be good. So I'd like to maybe put us right here below some time of protected low, which right now our stop loss is just kind of hanging in the middle. And that kind of happened when I got into the second trade and tried to readjust, but I think we would have put it here just so that we're protected with something. Up here, we're not protected by anything. So we're still good on our RR. Maybe it turned out to be a pretty good trade. It works out. Right now, we're just in a small pullback. Maybe creating a higher low. And we're approaching our 1050 macro. This is our first presented fair value gap. I'm going to get rid of this one here. You see how price is reacting off of this here. Our first presented fair value gap. It kind of hung out in this area as well. So once we get back above this first presented fair value gap with a nice body closure, and should see some nice volume to the upside. See if we can't create some type of bottom wick on this 15-minute. Got about 2 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. So even if we don't see an inversion, which is a body close above this, we could very well see price trade up into these highs, which is our target, before this next 15-minute candle even closes. A closure and an inversion would mean higher prices for the long term, for the rest of the day, lead into the PM session. We don't quite need that right now, just targeting these 8 a.m. highs. But we do need price to start getting back above consummate encroachment of this 15-minute fair value gap and start to break some of these lower highs, creating some bullish structure. So that's what we're looking for now. Maybe if we can, our first goal is to break these 5-minute highs here. And then start to break structure here and tap into those 8 a.m. highs. But as of now, it's looking like it wants to tag us out there, but if it does, it does. And that'll be it for our paper trade lesson. But so we're seeing a lot of sell pressure here. But if we can get a break above this high here, that would be a higher low on the 5-minute, which would be good for our cause, which is shooting into these 8 a.m. highs. Eventually we will sweep these highs. It's just a fact of when and what type of entry can we get into trading into these highs. Now in the beginning we took our first trade. This is the product of 2 trades. Our first trade, after we swept these 8 a.m. lows and tapped into this 15-minute fair value gap, we created a 1-minute bullish fair value gap here, which we came down, and we entered into this trade here. No, I'm lying. We created this so we had this 1-minute fair value gap here. Matter of fact, let's do it like this. That should show our executions. Okay. So this is where we bought in here. So we created our fair value gap here. Created fair value gap here, and we created another fair value gap here. This gap was created with a break of a high and an expansion. So we decided to come in. We put a limit order here, and we bought here. That was our initial buy-in. Then we came up on the 5-minute and we inversed this 5-minute here. We inversed this 5-minute here. Once we inversed this 5-minute here with this body closure, we put our limit order here. This candle came, tagged us in here, and it continued on down about that far. And we had our stop loss below this fair value gap. But when we bought here, it kind of messed our average up and pushed us up here. So we just adjusted our stop loss to our original stop loss. That's why we're in 2 contracts now, because we added once we broke this 5-minute fair value gap. And we did this to see, by all means, I would consider this indication that we were moving higher. So I'm doing this partly to put some visual to the context, to the narrative. Visual being an actual trade, even though it's a paper trade. We did not take this on our Lucid account, but I did want to put some visual to this on our paper trade account. So that's where we're at right now. We're in 2 contracts. When we got into our first buy, we were up. So as you can see, if we would have kept in just with our original 1 contract, we'd be in the green right now, which is good. So I feel with a little bit more patience, we'll eventually get into the green here with our 2 contracts, but with a bigger payout. Bigger risk, bigger reward. So as of now, the lesson learned, taking that 1-minute felt a lot better than taking this 5-minute. So once we inversed on that 1 minute fair value gap down here, this is a small gap here from the end of this wick to the top of this bar here. We inversed here, then we created a bullish fair value gap here. We could have got in on any one of those and been in good shape right now. So that's a lesson I'm learning. We did that yesterday, where we came in and I don't know if I don't want to go back that far. I kind of want to show where we were yesterday. Okay. So yesterday, kind of the same thing. We were coming down. Here's the open. We were coming down into the open. We had this 1 minute. This was actually our first presented 1 minute fair value gap here. We inversed here. As soon as we inversed this fair value gap, and we could have got into this trade. We could have got into this trade here with this 1 minute. After sweeping those 8 a.m. lows and tapping into a key level, and then seeing the 1 minute inversion, that was our key. It was, and the key being tapping in to the key level after sweeping a key level. So that was a lesson learned yesterday. We could have took it here. Instead, we came up here and we took it here. You know, now we're trying to get into a trade up in here. You know, and this is our 2022 buy model here, as we can see. Smart money reversal, low risk entry, consolidation, re-entry, consolidation, re-entry. So we're trying to get into here, waiting for more and more and more confirmation, which we had all the confirmation we needed, and our original objective was midnight open, which it hit. Now we're above midnight open. Now we're trying to get into here and get into some more. So that being said, this is the same lesson we're learning today, where we got into the trade earlier here, but if we would have got into it after that first inversion here, we would have been into profits, good profits. Could have maybe made into a quick scalp into our highs. So just because we swept those 8 a.m. lows doesn't mean we're going to immediately go into those highs. We could hit these highs this session, PM session, or it may not even hit it at all, but it's a good high probability that we're going to go in that direction after sweeping these lows. Does it mean it has to? No, not at all. So that being said, after we sweep these lows and tap into a key level or a higher time frame PD array, seeing your first inversion on the 1 minute and a retest of that and a bullish reaction would be a good indication to get in on that trade, instead of waiting for a 5 minute or a 15 minute, where that's what it looks like we're going now. You know, we waited for the 5 minute on this second entry, and we got a bit of a worse entry, but we're still pretty much in the same boat here. We got in earlier here, so of course when price starts to recover, our P&L will recover quicker, as opposed to being in up here waiting for price to recover even further before our P&L recovers. So as of now, from what I've gathered from our trading, on our paper trades that we took, and these trades are trades that I wouldn't take on my funded or eval accounts as of yet, because I just didn't have enough information, which we're gathering now. So gathering this information in forward testing, I'd say after a sweep of those 8 a.m. lows and into a key level or higher time frame PD array, I take that first inversion with a tight stop loss. So if we're wrong, we're wrong quick and with not a lot of risk. But if we're right, we have enough room to be into profit, to say, hey, we got some profit, let's cut this trade. Doesn't look like it's gonna go all the way up into our target, but we got some profits, so let's keep it going. So as of now, it looks like price wants to pull back more, so it may stop us out here on paper trade, which is a good lesson learned because we could have got in earlier down here, and at this point cut this trade here once we start to see some bearish reactions, off of this first presented fair value gap. But that's it. That's what I'm gathering here. It's all about gathering data, gathering the information. So today, what I did was, as I started to see price move down into our 8 a.m. lows, I took some scalps into our lows on our Lucid account, and we got up 397 on the day. So those are trades that I felt confident in according to my strategy and the data that I do have. These are trades, these are kind of forward testing trades that we're still gathering data, still based on our strategy, but to say, hey, at what point, what's a good entry, what's a good time for entry. So right now we're into our 1050 macro. We've seen price kind of push down a little bit, so let's see if that's just a small manipulation leg before delivering to the upside on this 1050 macro, in between that 1050 1111 mark and maybe hitting those 8 a.m. highs that we planned out. And this also would be a good time to start looking at entries if you were waiting on those higher time frame confirmations. So we had the 5-minute confirmation, which it just totally reversed on us. So the 5-minute is not really the one we're looking at. We've really been looking at all day this 15-minute fair value gap. So let's see within this macro time frame, this 1050 macro, if we can get an inversion of this 15-minute fair value gap, or if we can get one of these 15-minute candles, either this one or the next one, delivering price to our 8 a.m. highs. So entry inside of those macro time frames is key as well. So it looks like we're getting some a push to the upside as we're 8 minutes into this 1050 macro. Let's check our 1 hour candle here. So we got a lot of indecision on this 1 hour candle. Currently inside of a 1 hour SIBI. So we are pushing above this 1 hour. We got about 47 seconds left. So we already inversed this 1 hour. Bearish, came back down, retested, respected this 1 hour, and came back. Now we're on our way back up. So we did respect the inversion of this 1 hour fair value gap. Came back down and retested. Even though it wicked outside, we still have body closed on the inside. Let's see if we can't get, with the last few seconds, a close outside of this 1 hour, which we almost did. But we opened above, which is a good open. So we opened above that closure of our previous 1 hour candle. We didn't close outside of that fair value gap, but we did open above that closure. So hopefully we'll play on this wick to get outside of there and break some of these highs. So on the 15, we've opened above this inside candle here. So most of the time we open above an inside candle, then the next candle will tend to keep going to the upside. So that's a whole trading strategy within this. So some people trade just off these inside candles. So we close with an inside candle and then open above that inside candle. People will trade the longs just based on that. If it opens below that inside candle, people will trade shorts. So that's a whole strategy within itself. As you can see here, we had this inside candle, price opened above it and then continued up and there for a short scalp. Here it kind of opened adjacent. Here you can see here the inside candle, price opened below this inside candle and shorts. So for some, that's a strategy. Here opened above this inside candle, longs, and these are 15-minute candles, so they're pretty good scalps there. So let's see if we can't get some push to the upside here. We're approaching 2 minutes beyond that, our new 1 hour. So let's hope this isn't a top wick being formed on this 15 and more of a pullback. So what we want to see is a break of this little bearish trend that we had to the downside. So honestly, if we can break this line here and get up into this box here, get into this little box here and stay above this midline, we're looking good to go into here. So we're finally seeing some green on this trade. We got about 10 minutes left for the close of this 15-minute candle, which is probably a little bit longer than the end of our 1050 macro, which will be 11:10. But after 11:10, that's where we want to see where price, what's it going to do. If we're up here around 11:10, we want to see price shoot up and hit those highs. That would be our delivery. But as of now, price has been, you know, kind of barcoding up and down, indecisive. Um, and this is after red folder news, so people are kind of licking their wounds or probably counting their profits. Either way, a lot of investors are done trading for the day. They're either counting their money or they're licking their wounds right now. Either way, if you're counting your money, they're done, they're good, they're happy, closing out, going into the weekend, celebrating. If you're licking your wounds, playing it smart, you're not going to want to put on any more risk for the day. You're not going to want to chase those losses, and you're just going to close it out, regroup, and start again on Monday. So either way, that's why we're seeing this slowdown right now, and a lot of back and forth. People are still in those trades from that red folder news, maybe trying to wait for price to recover, kind of like what we're doing, and getting your profits, or either way, either situation, you're not seeing no new players coming to the market, no new institutional buys or sells at the moment. So you're not seeing real sharp spikes to the upside or to the downside. But be as it may, we're looking at our macro and our algorithm to see if we can get our delivery to the upside after this 1050 macro. So it looks like we're moving up. Are we going to break this line, break this high? We're up about $950,000 on this trade. We could cut it and count our profits, but we're gonna stay with our original trade and see if we can't get we've been in it this long. Let's see if we can't get a nice payout on these on this target, or hitting our target. Again, a lot of people are waiting for the inversion of this 15-minute before getting into longs, looking into going into the PM session. We're not looking into trading that long. We just want to hit our 8 a.m. highs after having hit our 8 a.m. lows and a key level. So that's what we're gathering here, kind of like forward testing. So as of now, we've put together some good data, that we'll be looking over this weekend to implement at the start of a new trading week on Monday. So we want to see price get above the 774, 775 area, 778. So in lieu of time, once we break these highs here, I may pull our stop loss up into profit, and we get into here, look into cutting this trade, because I don't want to be on stream all day. We're approaching that end of time mark there. So So we're starting to get into that area where we've been seeing rejection all day. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull our stop loss up here, drag us into some profit. So either way, we got to win on the day, and that way we just leave it to see. And we'll take some profit there. Once we break these highs, we'll take a little bit of profit there. Give us a nice little trim. And that way we're guaranteed a W on this trade. I still like to see us hit full TP just because we've been pushing so hard. So we're breaking above this trend line. We get a nice body closure above there. It'll be good. Got about 4 minutes left. We're at the 11:10 mark, which is the end of this 10:50 macro. So if it's going to push, it's going to push now. And if we're going to deliver, it's going to deliver now. So are we going to break this high? So there we go. We got our first TP hit there. Got our stop loss pulled up. It's just above break even. So we're banking in some profits there. Up about 47,000 on this account here. But we're approaching the close of our stream here, so we are dragged into profit. So you can just keep an eye on profit and want to keep an eye on price action, or you could look back to see what we did. But that's what we're aiming for, our 8 a.m. highs. At the very least, we've taken some profit, and if it pulls back, we're still in profit here. So all in all, pretty good day on our Lucid 50K account. We took some scalps into those 8 a.m. lows. We're up about 397 on that account, so good there. Done trading that account. On our paper trading view account, we're just doing some forward testing, seeing what time would be the best time to entry, narrowing down our entries, narrowing down our confirmations, and gathering information into the weekend and for the start of our trading week next week. But all in all, I think we got some gains on the day, knowledge and profits. So it's a good day. So once again, thanks for checking me out. Please hit that like and subscribe, and let's grow together. So thanks again. Have a happy and safe trading day, and I'll see you next time.